Welcome to our channel. Our second topic is going to be discussed on suppressing the wildfire by flying ship. Wildfire is an uncontrolled fire that damages large fields, trees, bushes and land. The wildfire are mostly started out of a lightning strike, or people carelessly starting it, or even arson that went unnoticed and got out of hand. These fires sometimes burn for days and weeks and has ability to wipe out an entire forest and destroy almost every organic matter in it. On Earth, something is always burning. Wildfires can also clear away dead and dying underbrush, which can help restore an ecosystem to good health. In many ecosystems, including boreal forests and grasslands, plants have co-evolved with fire and require periodic burning to reproduce.
This video shown the time-lapse of wildfire in the world by NASA from the year 2000 to 2020.
Some of the global patterns that appear in the fire maps over time are the result of natural cycles of rainfall, dryness, and lightning. For example, naturally occurring fires are common in the boreal forests of Canada in the summer. In other parts of the world, the patterns are the result of human activity. For example, the intense burning in the heart of South America from August-October is a result of human-triggered fires, both intentional and accidental, in the Amazon rainforest to the south. Across Africa, a band of widespread agricultural burning sweeps north to south over the continent as the dry season progresses each year. Agricultural burning occurs in late. The fire maps show the locations of actively burning fires around the world on a monthly basis, based on observations from the Moderate Resolution Imaging Spectroradiometer (MODIS) on NASA's Terra satellite. The colors are based on a count of the number not size of fires observed within a 1,000 square kilometer area. White pixels show the high end of the count, as many as 30 fires in a 1,000 square kilometer area per day. Orange pixels show as many as 10 fires, while red areas show as few as 1 fire per day.
A wildfire devastates everything that it engulfs. Thus, large areas of productive agricultural or forest land might be lost in the fire. Farmers lose their crops and livestock within a matter of a few hours to a few days and suffer a great economic setback. Those dependent on forestry for their income also experience heavy losses. If the destroyed areas were part of a popular tourist destination, then the tourist industry active in the affected area also faces a downfall. Although these economic sectors are directly affected by the fire, other businesses and communities also experience the adverse effect of wildfires. Private properties are also lost in such fires. Direct costs associated with firefighting is also high and is usually borne by the government. Post-fire restoration activities also consume a large sum of money.
Wildfire causes wildlife to move for avoiding flames and searching for new habitat. This migration can cause animals to wander into densely human-populated areas. Animals have a honed sense of danger, so when wildfire occurs, most animals sense it, but the small and slow animals cannot outrun the wildfires. God died in fire.
The wildfires are deadly. It destroys the wildlife habitat of many animals and various trees and plant, which in turn affects the biodiversity of the forest. The wildfire polluting the air with emissions like carbon dioxide, a key greenhouse gas, into the atmosphere which induces global warming, and other emissions which harms human. After the loss of vegetation, the ground's soil prevents the absorption of water. This inability to absorb water promotes pollution of water by debris and sediment. Post-fire flash floods become a threat, and can introduce heavy metals from ash and soil to infiltrate waterways.
The occurrence of wildfires is common in Australia, and this is why people often refer to this time as the ire season, but the recent wildfires have caused the burning of more than 6.3 million hectares of land since September 2019. The fires have affected several regions along the southern and eastern coasts. The affected regions include major cities like Sydney, Adelaide, and Melbourne. The worst affected of all is New South Wales. A disaster of such magnitude occurred for the first time in this region of Australia. The Australian wildfire initially killed about 480 million fauna, that includes various mammals, birds, vertebrates and reptiles, and the death just crosses 1 billion over months of wildfire. Some of animals are not burned alive but have faced death due to the destruction of their habitat, which they rely on for food and shelter. Large animals, like kangaroos or many birds, will be able to move away from the wildfire as it approaches. The less mobile species and smaller animals are affected. Koalas are a good example of small animals, which more than 8,000 are killed in wildfire due to their slow movement in the forest. Most of koalas are nearly injured and killed during the wildfire.
In the Australian wildfire, it is said that a total of 16 threatened species of mammal in that area is affected by fires. Nearly half of mammals were listed as endangered. It is said that 47 of the 272 threatened plant species found in fire-affected zones had 80% or more of their habitat burned. It leads to the loss of biodiversity.
Destruction by Australian wildfire. Burning time between June 2019 to May 2020. The Australian wildfire at least have killed 34 people, who are all encountered the wildfire at that time. It is said that almost 1 billion animals, killed and some endangered species, are driven to extinction. In Australia wildfire, most of acres are burned is resulted in this comparison chat. The cost of dealing with wildfire, expected to exceed $4.4 billion of American dollars. By the statistics of NASA, it is told that 306 million tons of carbon dioxide is emitted from the wildfire.
Australia has seen some of the worst smoke pollution, with air quality related third worst of all major global air pollution crisis. Almost 7,000 miles black carbon spreaded over the burned area. It is to be considered severe air pollution.
Finally, we get into the topic. Our core idea proposes manufacturing of huge flying ships, dimension 50-meter length, 4-meter breadth and 1.5-meter height, which is filled with water. Hundreds of these flying ships would be built, and they would be located in stations around the world, where wildfires happens the most. Each station might contain up to 100 number of flying wildfire suppression ships, at all time in its place for the emergency use. Once a fire is detected, a wildfire suppression ship would fly in, and make a pass over the fire, putting it out before it has done a lot of damage. According to the size of the fire, number of ships can be used is determined, and are used accordingly.
This diagram shows the three-dimensional diagram enhances the functionality and parts of the flying ship. In helicopter, there is one engine rotor will be there. But it lifts 60 tons of weight. Like here, we have designed 5 engine rotors without any interruption of blades. So, it can able to lift more than 250 tons of weight.
Design calculations are key to manufacture this flying wildfire suppression ship, is in the device of powerful engine to lift at least 30 tons of water to a certain height. Thus a power of engine to be calculated for lifting 30 tons of water through 150 meters of heights in 1 hour. Mass to be lifted equal 3,000 kilograms. Height equal 150 meters. 1 hour equal 3,600 seconds. Work done equal product of mass, gravity and height. Equal 6,000 into 10 approximately into 150 equal 90 into 105 joule. Power equal work done. Equal 90 into 105 equal 2,500 watts. Time equals 3,600 seconds an hour. The engine that can exert 2.5 kilowatts of power can be used for the lifting of 60 tons of weight in one rotor.
The fire suppressor has 5 rotors, in the vessel in which the vessel moves on like a drone, with water tank in it. The key to manufacturing these flying wildfires suppressors, would be to design powerful engines, engines that can supply 2.5 kilowatts of power to a rotor, so that the rotor can be able to lift more than 60 tons. One rotor can able to lift 60 tons, as per the power rating of engine. Along with the 5 rotors, it was able to lift 5x60, 300 tons of water for fire suppressors.
The vessel of flying ship is one of the important component in the system in which it acts as the reservoir for storing water. Also the vessel has driver cabin, in which the pilot of flying ship can sit and control it. The sprinklers are attached to the vessel, in which the water sprinkled at 30 centimeters of high-pressure water at the Wildfire region in order to cool down that area. Each flying ship could be 50 m long, 4 m wide and 1.5 m high. It is clear that it could carry 300 tons of water. This one flying Wildfire suppression ship can cover and suppress fire in an area of that is 4 m wide and 250 m long.
The dimensions of flying ship is provided as well as many information for doing the innovation to reduce or prevent the wildfire spreading in future. And also you can modify this for your project.
You can use
Your
this type
future
of
is in your
software
hands.
to design this model to CAD files for design the prototypes provided by Dassault Systems and Autodesk software companies. I conclude with this idea: by improving the efficiency of the engine and the optimal design in the vessel can improve the flying ship covering distance and its capacity. This idea of flying Wildfire suppression ship is only in the form of the model stage only. It can be further improved in design and can be implemented accordingly. Its design is in form of primitive design. It is the student's perspective to take new features on design and more real-time implementation application onto a next level.